What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Grandmasters are coming up in just a few days, which means many of you out there will be in need of a strong build to take down this season's 6 big challenges and claim your Conqueror title. So today, we're going to be looking at an exceptionally powerful Strand build that's going to be perfect for Warlocks and Grandmasters throughout this season. This season's Grandmasters include the Devil's Lair, the Corrupted, the Disgraced, the Lightblade, the Fallen Saber, and the Moon Battlegrounds. Grandmasters are one of the toughest activities in Destiny 2. They tend to feature a lot of modifiers, a ton of champions, limited revives, and the threat of being sent back to orbit if your team wipes. This makes it even more important to prepare yourself with an optimal build that's suited for each Grandmaster's conditions. And that's where this Strand build is going to be so versatile and so beneficial for Warlocks throughout this season. While Arc builds will surely prove to be a fantastic option this season with an abundance of resilience at the disposal, Strand offers some especially lucrative benefits that will make each Grandmaster much easier to manage. We're going with the Swarmer's exotic boots, which causes threadlings to spawn from tangles. Threadlings will also be able to unravel targets, causing additional damage, with the added benefit of piercing barrier shields. The new seasonal artifact provides several mods that will play a pivotal role in this build. So let's take a look at those first. We've got Strand Authorization activated, which reduces the energy cost of Strand associated mods down to 1 energy. We're also using improved Unraveling. This is going to increase the damage dealt by unraveling effects by 10%. Deeper Origins will be a great choice for a lot of different legendary weapons, none more so than those with nanotech tracer rockets, as this will provide a 20% increase in the damage dealt from these tracer rockets, or any weapon with this origin trait. We're using Countercharge, which is going to give us 1 stack of armor charge each time a champion is stunned. And we're using Strand Soldier. When using Strand weapons, these will receive unraveling rounds whenever we gain Woven Mail. This can prove to be a very strong mod to have when facing barrier champions. We've got Conductive Cosmic Needle, which will help out the entire team, as will cause targets who are affected by Strand debuffs to take increased damage from Arc and Void abilities. This doesn't include Arc and Void weapons specifically, but if those Arc and Void weapons create energy effects like Jolt, Blinding, or Volatile, then these effects will receive a 5% bonus in damage. And lastly, we're using Squad Goals. Since we'll be able to maintain Woven Mail, we can perform finishers to share Woven Mail to the rest of the team. A great support feature to have available. Now that we've addressed our artifact selections, let's see how these will synergize with our selection in Strand subclass. We're using the Wanderer aspect, which does 2 things for us. Tangles that we throw will now attach to targets and detonate into a suspending burst, which is capable of stunning unstoppable champions. And the secondary benefit of Wanderer is that whenever we get a final blow with a threadling, a new tangle will get created. I love Mindspun Invocation for general ad clearing, but its performance feels inconsistent in harder content. So we're using Weaver's Call, which is going to create 3 threadlings whenever we cast our rift. These threadlings will then deploy towards nearby targets, or perch to you if none are near. For grenades, we're going with Shackle Grenades, which will suspend enemies, stun unstoppables, and prevent barrier champions from casting their shields. Arcane Needles will provide us with 3 charged melees, with each having the ability to unravel targets, who will in turn create more tangles when defeated. For Fragments, we're going with Thread of Mind. This is going to grant between 15 and 50% class ability energy when defeating suspended targets, based on what tier level the combatant is. We're using Thread of Evolution, which is going to enhance our threadlings, causing them to go further and deal 33% increased damage against any target. This also provides us with 10 extra points towards intellect. We're using Thread of Warding, so we get Woven Mail when picking up an orb. This does reduce resilience by 10 points, but the 60% damage resistance more than makes up for it. When using strand weapons, I prefer to use Thread of Rebirth, so that strand weapons have a chance at creating threadlings on final blows. But when not running strand weapons, I find it best to utilize Thread of Generation, so that dealing any type of damage will generate a small amount of grenade energy. Before we jump into the best weapons for this season, let's take a look at what choices we're making with armor. First off, let's talk about resilience. If yours is below 90 and you're not a die-hard sweaty player, you're probably going to get wrecked, so you're going to need to bump that shit up. And you're probably going to need to use some fonts of endurance to boost that resilience up when you have armor charges active. Recovery and discipline will be the other two areas to focus your stats towards. This will help you regenerate your grenades and class ability faster. When it comes to the armor mods that we're using, the Dynamo Helmet mod creates additional super energy when we cast our Rift near enemies. Siphon mods will help generate orbs after weapon kills, which we'll need for armor charges. We won't really have many kills off of our melee or grenades, not enough to justify using heavy-handed or firepower, so we are using impact induction to generate additional grenade energy when we damage an enemy with our melee. With bolstering detonation, we'll get bonus class ability energy when we cause damage with a grenade. And with grenade kickstart, whenever we throw our grenade, we'll instantly get energy restored. This will consume at least 3 armor charges in the process, but will allow us to have a much steadier stream of shackle grenades. For chest armor, we're doubling down on resistance mods because Grandmasters can be brutal. Concussive Dampener will be great to ward off area effect damage, and melee resistance will reduce any damage from within 5 meters. Either of these mods, along with a few energy resistance mods based on the Grandmaster energy threat, will be a big help towards your survivability. Weapon surges are great for added damage, but since we're using grenade kickstart, it wouldn't work out to use both. So instead, we're using stacks on stacks so that we get an extra stack of armor charge when collecting an orb. And we're also using recuperation and innervation so that we get health and grenade energy whenever we collect an orb. For our class item, we're using a distribution mod along with a bomber mod. That way we can create extra grenade energy and extra ability energy to all abilities whenever we cast our Rift. Alternatively, the Reaper mod will be a great choice to be able to generate an extra orb off of weapon kills after casting your Rift. We're also using Explosive Finisher. This will grant grenade energy when performing a finisher, while we have at least 3 armor charges active. This serves more as a backup option to get shackle grenades back quicker. But since we are using squad goals, there is an incentive here for performing finishers. Now that we've talked about armor mods and class tree options, let's switch gears to weapons. So what will be the best weapon loadouts to take into Grandmasters this season? Now that several ability effects can help take on champions, it's not as necessary to run double primary, but ultimately your choice in weapons is going to change with each Grandmaster to facilitate different surges, champions, and shields. So let's take a look at the weapons that I've got queued up and ready for each Grandmaster this season. Starting with kinetic weapons, we've got Quicksilver Storm, an amazing strand auto rifle that has an alternate grenade mode. Quicksilver will benefit from unraveling rounds or the use of the seasonal anti-barrier mods. Legendary strand weapons like the Terrazippus or Perpetualis can take on champion duties while also creating threadlings with the Hatchling's weapon perk. Stasis weapons with Chill Clip can offer an additional option towards stunning unstoppable and overload champions, and the Wishender or Revision Zero can serve as a fantastic exotic option to take on barrier champions. The Malfeasance just got a new catalyst with Vorpal, and it deals an insane amount of damage against all enemies with its burrowing rounds, since it deals bonus damage to the Taken and stuns unstoppables. It will make for a great choice this season. And don't worry, all of you Osteostriga fans, while it might not stun champions anymore, it still poisons enemies, making it a superb choice for most of this season's Grandmasters. Switching over to our energy slot, we've got a lot of strong options this season, so I'll probably forget 1 or 2 by the time we're done. When facing overload champions, or a lot of void shields, like you'll be doing in the Corrupted. Layman Arc is going to be an outstanding option. The Centrifuge has proven to be a very strong weapon this season, as it can blind targets, jolt targets, and is able to reload itself. Nightfalls, like the Fallen Saber, are going to send a lot of arc damage your way, so the Risk Runner could make for a great exotic option for survivability, as long as you're able to handle the champions with your other weapons and abilities. The Divinity will be a great choice in Nightfalls with heavy arc shields and overload champions, and will provide your team with a crucial bonus in damage against those champions and bosses. Devil's Ruin and Ariana's Vow are both great solar options that can come in handy this season. Ariana's Vow can deal out an incredible amount of precision damage and will pierce barrier shields, while the Devil's Ruin provides an overpowered laser that can stun unstoppables. When it comes to legendary energy weapons, I'll most likely see myself using the Iterative Loop, which receives the nanotech damage bonus, the Forbearance Arc Grenade Launcher, or a Void Grenade Launcher that comes with Repulsor Brace or Destabilizing Rounds. Otherwise, the Nation of the Beasts Arcane Cannon has become a very lucrative option in my opinion, as it can jolt targets with Volt Shot, and it can stun unstoppables with the Unstoppable seasonal mod. Moving over to our choices for heavy weapons, the Cold Comfort, the Wendigo, or Apex Predator will all be very strong options when you're looking at straight raw damage, but heavy machine guns can be a much better option for ammo economy. While swords will be an unlikely choice for any of these Grandmasters, the Lament is the one exception, as it can pierce barrier champions, heals its wielder, provides a tremendous frontal shield, and deals out an incredible amount of damage. Leviathan's Breath can be another strong choice this season, as it creates a concussive blast after impact and stuns unstoppables. And the last weapon that I'll mention today is the Thunderlord, to be specific with its Catalyst. This thing is extremely lethal and equipped to stun overloads, so when the Saber is on rotation, this will be a very strong choice. Like I mentioned earlier, ability effects have made things a lot easier for putting together a good Grandmaster build. Even weapons like the 1K Voices can stun unstoppables because it can create ignitions. With that being said, the weapons that I've mentioned today are the ones that I believe will stand out the most and provide you with the most benefits towards success in Grandmasters this season. And with that, we've come to an end of today's Grandmaster Strand build. A build that's going to provide you with everything you need to take on each of this season's Grandmasters and claim your Conqueror titles, to which I wish you all the best and luck throughout your journey. Let me know your thoughts on this season's Grandmasters, which ones you're looking forward to, and the ones you're already cringing over. Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you as always for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.